Hey guys, it's June 6th, Saturday. Got in the river several times this week and came away with a few things I thought I'd go over with you. Water's really starting to come down, it's drying up a little bit now. Still got a good ways to go to where the hunting's going to get a good bit better, but anyway, I came away with a few things I thought I'd go over you with. But anyway, one of the things I did want to talk about too is I use this term axe or axe head, and us guys that collect these things, it's kind of a very generalized term, and sometimes I think I confuse people. But anyway, it's basically any kind of tool that may be hafted or inserted in a stick. It doesn't necessarily have to be a tool that can chop down a tree or anything. In fact, most everything I find down here are tools or axe heads that are not used for that purpose. You get the really nice pieces up in the north, northeast, Midwest that are, kind of fully grooved or half grooved heads that made out of hematite and things like that you can actually cut a tree down with, and they were probably used for that purpose. But the ones I get here are generally not used for that purpose. But anyway, I thought I would just show you some of the ones I found here lately. These two are very similar. They're very rough. They're made out of quartz. These are probably inserted pieces that actually went into a stick. Fairly well polished on the back side here, but this side is fairly rough. You can see a lot of the pecking marks on this stone. This is solid quartz, and you don't find too many of them that are solid quartz like this. But here's another one that's just almost identical. I don't know, maybe made by the same person, but they were actually found several miles apart. But this side's been polished pretty well on it. But these are rough. Rough tools, rough axe heads, and I don't know what they used them for. They could have used them just for for crushing things and grains or whatever, nuts. I'm not real sure, but they weren't used for cutting trees. I do know that. It's a pretty nice one there. It's an old piece, polished on that side. A lot of real fine pecking marks on that side. A little rough on that side. See where it's been pecked there. It's used quite a bit. It's that bit part is worn pretty good bit on that one. Here's another one made out of quartz. This one's finished off a little bit nicer. You can see how it's been kind of pecked out on the top here. Good bit of wear on that bit though. That's a nice little piece. This one's here made out of quartzite. You can see the little flaking marks in there forming this tool. That one's been finished off pretty well. It's polished pretty well all the way around. See where they chipped it out on the bottom and then on the top also. Pretty good bit of wear on the bit side of this thing. That's a real dense stone. Possibly could have used that for, working on a tree or something, but I'm not really sure. Here's another one. These are pretty nice examples of what you'll find here up in the northeast part of Georgia. This is quartzite too. It's not as dense as the other stone, but it's quartzite. Pretty good bit of wear on the bit end of this thing. The top, the bottom. That could have been an inserted piece. I'm not real sure. They're halfted or inserted. Here's a real small one. That probably was a little inserted piece. It's kind of like the other ones on the top. It's kind of rough on this back side, but it looks like it's been might have a little bit of a break right in there. It's been polished right all through here, but I think this is either wear or a bit of a break right up in there on this one. Anyway, those are my axe heads. Here's an old bird effigy. The wing right here and the tail, a little bit different color. That's mostly quartzite. Here's the neck and the head up here. You can see where the eyes have been pecked out. Real common, theme in these. I've showed you many of them over and over again. Anyway, they raise that wing and then peck away the rest of it to form this effigy. Backside, really nothing to look at there. And that's the way they did a lot of them. There's a few that were meant to be seen on both sides, but not many. Most of them were just from one side. Anyway, that's a nice little piece. Little bird effigy. Here's some quartzite polishing stones. You can see all the different facets on these stones. Quartzite was really good polishing stone because it's got a little bit of grit in it. It's really dense, and that grit helps with the gritty surface helps with the polishing process. Here's one almost identical. A little facet here, here, and here. Nice little pieces. And this is a phallic piece here. I think slash also tool. Most of them also were used as tools, but that's what that is. This adults kind of know about this thing, but anyway. I think this is what I would call a pick. It had a really dense granite. It's been polished on the top and the bottom a little bit. I don't know if that was used as a worn tool. Doesn't have any wear on it really. I'd say probably halfted and used as a worn piece. Just speculating on that one though. And I think this is a little bit of a game piece. It's just kind of a squared off piece of white quartz. Real pretty, just snow white. Probably just a little game piece. Here's a grinding stone. That's a pretty good example. Would be held in the hand like that. Grind the grains and the nuts into a flour. You see all this dark area right in here on the sides here. That's from your hands. I think that's quartzite also. What's a big hammerstone here? Dimpled out right here. on the sides. See where it's real dark there? That's where the fingers, oils from the fingers would rub into the stone. That's a pretty decent example of one. Here's what I call an abrader stone. What they'll do is they'll take this layer down here, leave this layer up, kind of have a little bit of a serrated edge right there, and they'll run their shafts through there and take off the knots and bark on these shafts, clean them up a little bit. But I got several of them that are just exactly like this. I have more than several actually. I might have to bring them out all one day. But that's what that stone's used for. Just rub that shaft back and forth through there. It takes that bark off in no time. I've done it, and it works pretty well. And here's kind of just an old solid quartz pecking stone. Really worn on the tip. They use this a lot. Dimple out right here. I like to get these that are solid quartz like this. They're not as common. A little bit harder to work in the form. That's a pretty good example of one though. And here's just your little small one here. That's for really fine work. Solid quartz. That'd be for that kind of work right there. Really fine pecking marks on this back side of this axe head here. And they probably use something like that bigger one on that side. You can see the really big the pecking marks on this back side, but maybe one like this. Anyway, that's what I got today, guys. I appreciate you tuning in. Don't know when I'm gonna get back in the creek, but possibly tomorrow. See what else I can come up with. Appreciate it.